So, hello everyone.
Hello.
What can be better than be on a Saturday to meet with all you innovation professionals that would like to make a change? It's a pleasure to be here. Fantastic audience, fantastic premises, fantastic start from you. I'm really impressed at what you have done at the Tesla Center. How many of you know anything about SynerLeap? A hand up. All right, so it's not a waste of time here. There are many that doesn't know anything. So where do we have the entrepreneurs and startups? Do we have any here? I recognize a few of you. Great. And corporates, we have a few here. And the rest of you are on the venture side or academia or whatever? Students, great, you are the future. So SynerLeap, let's see that everything is working. It's about synergies for taking the leap, and we're really focusing on entrepreneurs and startups. If you read carefully, you see it's SynerLeap powered by ABB. So it's a strong connection to ABB. It's ABB that open up in the same way as VA Healthcare is doing for the startups and entrepreneurs. But it's really all about accelerating startups. It's not about accelerating ABB. We will talk a lot about ecosystem and why it's so important to be part in an ecosystem where innovation is happening. But this is us, and our logotype, it's inspiration from origami, paper folding, that you really can combine existing things in new ways. And the colors are great to see. These nice faces all over. It's so much light here, so it's hard. But the colors are really about passion, creativity and curiosity. That is what we really are. So you see some in the team here. Working with startups, that is something that ABB has done for a long time. And this is one example that we really invest through our corporate venture arm in startups that are complementary to ABB, and you can actually cover some disruption to some point, and we invested some $250 million over the years since 2010, co-investing with other great venture capital. But what we did 2 years ago was really to inaugurate SynerLeap. That is a different way. And I will show just one slide about ABB, and these are our core values. It's all about innovation and speed. You see them here. Innovation, I mean, we have the best researchers from all countries all over the world doing research within ABB. But we are not, as a corporate, so good in speed. So we need to really find how can we be faster. It's so important in the future. And startups, they are, I mean, they have black belt in being fast. So of course we should do some kind of collaboration. That is also among our values. And how can we collaborate? This is the tricky part. And their trust is the important thing. So we really have opened up ABB. And I asked the question to you also, Jens, what has been the main challenge? I mean, it's so much about culture, about the corporate culture that needs to be changed. You cannot just do everything yourself. You need also to take some risk in collaborating, and it's about open innovation in a way. You cannot get something if you don't give anything. So we are kind of a dance floor in SynerLeap. So we always aim for speed, and we are performing together with the ecosystem. So it's not about meeting the ABB KPIs, it's about being fast. Instead of discussing, is there any synergy, we do things together, fast. I mean, fail fast, you know it all. But we try to do this in reality. So the ecosystem, we did inaugurate 2 years ago and a couple of months more. We did it together with our CEO, Ulrich Spiesshofer, and Basmi Hussein, our CTO, and we had Ibrahim Baylan from the government, Ministry of Energy and Policy Coordination. I had the pleasure to stand there. We had one of the startups, Karin Edström, at Ego Things at that time. We had Alex Jonsson somewhere here, now he dropped out, I think. But we had 4 startups already from day one. We had a king on the first row. We celebrated not really really in the inauguration of SynerLeap as such. We celebrated 100 years of R&D in Sweden in ABB. We are really a old company, can you believe it? We really need to have some kind of new fresh energy into the company. This day also, just to say something about it, because the inauguration was just a small part of the day, but it's really that everything that was written on Twitter, on LinkedIn that day was about we open up as a company. Everything that was in traditional media was about the celebration of 100 years of R&D in ABB, and that the king was there and our CEO, etc. But the startups, they have got it. I mean, it's not the age that counts, it's what you do, what value you create. So this was how we started. At this time, we didn't have a clue of what we were approaching. So that is another question that can be very interesting to elaborate with you. I mean, we are partners in crime. Industries that open up and find that really we need to do something. I mean, we can help each other. We are the same ecosystem, more or less, all of us. So let's see what we have next. What has happened then? Yeah, what we saw is that once we opened up, it was actually the same day as the Stockholm Tech Fest was held in Stockholm with 5,000 entrepreneurs or something like that. It was shouted out there also, now ABB is opening up. So it attracted a lot of people. We had a very busy time in just taking care of all the interests. So people come together, and here, for instance, we have Northvolt. If you have heard about that company, they were just 5-6 people at that time in our first event also. So it's a lot of discussions all over. We have Glitchy there. Kai Hübner is the next speaker here today. So networking, and we come to matchmaking, and then we kind of realize, yes, we would like to do things together. But at this point, really, the corporation is not ready. And maybe not even the startups also, because trust, it takes some time to really build this trust. And we don't have the tool how to collaborate and how to be better. 1 + 1 is equal to 3, that someone mentioned before. But everything happened really fast. We also decided, let's run like an upstart event also. We did it in Investor also. Just took 4 weeks from the idea to we ran the event with the participants from more than 10 countries and some, I don't remember now, was it 35 startups or something, 300 people showing up. So we can do things, just that we need to release the handbrake and believe that things are possible. What we do more is to build on the sharing economy, and this is what we have in common too. I mean, we have fantastic lab, we have robotics lab, high voltage lab, user experience lab, prototyping lab, 25 different labs that helps ABB to stay in the world-class lead in power and automation and robotics. If they are not used, and they are not always, give them to the ones that can use them. This is very, very uncomfortable for the corporate, because it's our things. We think that we use them all the time. But we throw it in, and it's really help us to start deliver a lot of exciting results. And in the first phase, we really saw that actually the startups are accelerated. You said something about seeking capital instead. I mean, the capital companies come to the startups. One other big corporation invested in one of our startups, Mobilaris, Atlas Copco went in. Is that bad or good? Of course it's good, because it's accelerating innovation. We aim for speed. Everyone that would like to accelerate what is happening, it's just good. But of course, when I report to my board, they ask, hey Peter, what's going on here? Why didn't we invest? And I say, okay, now we have 20 companies here. We missed out on this one. We have 19 more. Should we miss out on them too? Or should we take the chance? It's good when things go fast. And I tell you why. It's so simple that if we say, no, we don't want to be into this, it's too risky or whatever, what is happening? It's not that innovation is not happening. It will happen anyway. It will happen somewhere else. So do we minimize the risk by saying, no, we don't want to take part? Or are we actually making life worse for us? It's better to really let some in your ecosystem be successful, even if it's not yourself, because at least then you are part of an innovation system that is in the front. Else you are not even part. So how can you complain? You need to realize this, but it's not so easy for a legal department or even for anyone that needs to deliver results tomorrow to take a risk. But it's worse if you all the time say no. The startups, they just aim, they just continue. So I mean, if ABB is not on board, I mean, you go anyway, right? Yes. Okay, so we have had some 34 startups already. We have some 14 alumni. This picture is not completely updated. We have from the whole country, from Lund to Luleå, but we also have international startups. Now we have the first from Belgium, we have a Danish company on their way in, etc. And out of these, we have 4 in the Swedish Tech 33 list. On the 33 list, we have 2 on the top 20 machine learning solution providers in Europe. And this company, they can present themselves, but MIT Technology Review awarded them also, for instance. It's really great companies. And this is kind of the deal flow. It's also not updated, but we have roughly about 20 companies as members all the time. And now we also try to collect some statistics here. We have 30 collaborations, not 28. 8 of them are at the level where ABB engaged with more than $30,000. It's just any level, but it's collaboration is where ABB really put in resources. And we invested in Uppsala company the other 1.5 months ago. Grafmatek, they were awarded for the 2018 Nanotech company of in Scandinavia just recently, a week or 2 ago, also together with Valerid Ventures that was early in Klarna, for instance. So actually it's happened a lot over here too. It takes some time before the results really to happen. Remember, trust. If you don't trust anything or trust anyone, there is no real business. You need to overcome that step. When you trust, it's so much better chances to do great things together. So this is okay. It's not fitting into the page, but actually it's just some statistic of how many collaboration discussions we have in the pipeline and how many that has happened. And ABB is a global company. How can ABB help the companies to accelerate? Of course, these labs, it's a huge thing, but also the industrial knowledge. Many of the companies in our arena, they are business-to-consumer companies, but their technology might have much better value in the business-to-business. But if you are not allowed to enter business-to-business, I mean, how can you know? This is, of course, very valuable. The third thing is that ABB knows how to be world leader on a global market. So we can help them also taking the leap. That's why we are SynerLeap. So this is just showing that we have a lot of collaboration that happens between ABB and the startups happening all out in the global world. And this chart is just showing what happened when we opened up SynerLeap 2 years ago. Before that, I'm also responsible for strategic collaboration and business development in Swedish R&D in ABB, and we had more or less no collaboration with startups. Remember, we invested in startups, and we still do, and that is just amazing. But we didn't collaborate, also not even with the one we invested in, to the extent we wanted. So all of a sudden, we took a step that at least every quarter we had 1 or 2, or maybe 1 or 2 collaborations, not more than that. But then we figure out how can we do this in a fast way, what legal instruments do we need, how can we release budget now, today, so we can start on Monday, instead of start discussing about budget for next year, so we can start in February or something. So we figured out that too. So now we are more or less at 10 collaborations per month, and this is more or less one per week. So remember, do things instead of just discussing. It's really an agile approach. This is just showing the thing that I talked about, that about a third of the collaborations are already global from the first day. We decided to bring SynerLeap out as a own subsidiary. It's fully owned ABB subsidiary, but I report directly to my board, where I have the global CTO and the country manager, Johan Söderström, in the board. For every company we bring in, actually, we had a question before here, what are the criteria to become a SynerLeap company? It's really about if the company can be accelerated by being in SynerLeap. I think then we open up the doors. Then I can explain that a little bit more. But there are so many good acceleration environments. Stockholm Innovation and Growth have a lot of accelerators, or you can go internationally, or Västerås Science Park, or whatever. But they cannot offer industrial knowledge and the infrastructure and the labs, or maybe to take a business-to-consumer company to make it great within business-to-business. So those are the things that matters. All these other environments, they are much better in, being traditional kind of accelerators or incubators. So let them do it. They do it better. What we have also is we would really like to help the companies if they would like to collaborate with ABB. It's no prerequisite that they need to collaborate with ABB to be part of SynerLeap. They can just use the labs and be accelerated by that. It's just awesome. But 10 out of 10 companies, for some reason, they would like to work with ABB. That's why they come. They would like to reach the industrial market, do business together, or maybe some, a few, very few, maybe just on the R&D side or something like that. Or sell things to ABB. So before we let them in, we have all our global divisions involved. We have our new digital business involved, and also our corporate venture side and R&D side. They actually grade the companies that apply. And we can use that when the companies later on say, now we would like to collaborate. Then we say, fine, okay, we already know you have some supporters in ABB. And then we can start get going. Okay, a little bit about that. And we have learned a lot over these 2 years. We have had fun every day, I can tell you. But of course we need to add more resources. So what we have done here is really to add on the business development side, to have in the business units, to have people that are head of collaboration. Also the venture side in ABB, and now we can talk a little bit about our region. In ABB we have venture capital or investment directors in 3 parts of the world, in Silicon Valley, in Zurich and in Bangalore. The fourth that we employed was in Sweden, but it was not intended at that time to put that person in Sweden. So why did ABB do that? Because we have a super hot startup scene here and we are getting traction with the startups. So therefore we fast forwarded to be able to work on this, in this ecosystem. ABB is a global company. We are just interested in value creation and making business. So if it's not a good ecosystem here, then we are somewhere else. But it's a great ecosystem, and that's what I'm saying. We need to be successful together. We need to realize we can really make a difference. And then we cannot say that we don't dare to work with others. University startups, big corporations, that make us to be successful also in our home base, so to say. And here we are also now included into the technology venture team that I mentioned here before, also the 4 persons that we are having. We are working on this kind of engagement ladder. So we bring in the companies typically here, down here, the dance floor. We think we might be successful together. We play some good music from SynerLeap and the companies dance with all the ABB stakeholders. We are 147,000 people in the company. It's a lot of people you need in order to know, in order to really create the future. So as soon as we see, okay, this makes sense, then maybe we can go increase the stake and put in more money, larger verification projects or investment or that kind of things. These tools we now have in the toolbox. So a little bit what's in it for ABB. I talked a little bit about it. We want to be an ecosystem where innovation is happening. And startups, they know where the puck is going to be played, or where corporation, we are so busy looking where we are now. We need to have the profit today. So of course, it's no rocket science to realize this. Another thing, when we work with venture and we invest in company, then we really know what we want. Let's say, as an example, we know we need something within artificial intelligence and maybe let's say in the paper production area or something. Then you look, where do we have the best startup company in this area? And then you really try to make a good deal with that company. But when it comes to disruption, I mean, we don't know. What will disruption be? What is needed there is to come across networks and experience. This is just some theory that says that if you have a too sparsely connected network, there is nothing happening. If you have some connection with other networks but not social capital enough, you might have an eureka moment and realize this is what the future will be like. But you cannot handle it. You don't know what to do about it. If you are a big corporation like this, you just focus inwards and you miss the disruption thing. You need to be connected to other networks. And that is what we are doing in SynerLeap. We have a lot of different companies that maybe some of them at first are not making sense for ABB at all. And we are not doing this for ABB. That's the primary stakeholder anyway. But we need to have these people come together. Think of, a gamer person. What about such a person that has played games and had world records or whatever and played 10,000 hours? Put that person in a control room in a paper and plant industry. There we just have 60, 65, 70 years old men that know the plant, they know how it smells, they know where every pump. But might the pulp and paper industry be even better? Can you reach higher levels if you put in a gamer instead and say these are the KPIs that you should monitor and you can steer and control here? We don't know because we don't allow that stupid guy or girl to put herself there. Maybe that is where you increase the 30% in production. We need to allow this to in with this kind of people in the same ecosystem. And we took our inspiration from AstraZeneca. They opened up and now it's us and now we have Tesla. I mean, it's really about making up your mind and decide to take the step and realize we cannot be successful alone. It's just too costly. It takes too much time. We need to do this together. So really combine what you are good at and what we are good at. And this is really the sharing economy. I mean, if Uber and Airbnb can really build companies from small to be the largest just by combining what we are good at in better ways and work together, I mean, we can do it as well. So we have a lot of cool technologies, we have a lot of cool companies here. And for you that are startups or also for you corporates, I mean, contact us and challenge us, see if we can do things together. We are also trying to be as transparent as possible with what we are doing, so we are quite active in social media. So most welcome to follow us there too. So if you like what we are doing, I mean, give us a thumbs up or spread the message to the one you think can actually be helped by the arena we are doing. We are humble and it's a lot of improvement potential, but we are determined really to write the future together. I think I stopped there. Now I need some water.
Thank you, Peter. I think we have time for a few questions as well. I would like to say, what an inspiring talk. You're a visionary.
Saturday, right?
And also doing things as well. I mean, I also work in innovation at Vattenfall and collaborations with startups, and I know people like you, Peter, at the company. You mean so much for the employees as well. And how many did you have? For 147,000 employees.
In ABB, yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And we also work with entrepreneurship in ABB through SynerLeap, or is that something different? Actually,
we are on our way to do that a little bit more active now. But the thing is that we don't have so many entrepreneurs in the company. Maybe not everyone in ABB would agree, but it's really, I mean, when you work really much with your box organization, entrepreneurs, they don't love to be there. So they go for other things. So therefore, I mean, it takes the time to train that culture, I would say. Collaboration is probably much more efficient.
Yes, I think I agree. Do we have any questions for Peter from the audience?
I'm very
Yes.
being a global company, being owned by two different organizations in the way. So why not in Switzerland, for example?
Yes. I can tell you like this. This is super hard to do in a global organization. And I'm probably, you can call me a founder. I have been with ABB since I started as trainee 24 years ago. I know the company inside out, so to say. And me together with our country manager Johan Söderström, I think that has been a good combination. We talked about Lotta Ljungqvist here for Testa. You need really some that is extremely good in driving, that can solve all the problems. I think we would have had 100 reasons to close down what we are doing, but we have solved those 100 reasons and just moved on. So it might be a coincidence that it happened here, but we have taken the step all the way, and when we look at the attraction it generates inside ABB towards Sweden, I mean it's super important for the ecosystem in our region, so to say. So I can give you the whole story and a lot of examples, but I think that is at another place. But when you really know where we need to go, and if you feel that we are maybe not doing that in the 100% best way, I mean, then you need to raise your hand and say, okay, I can contribute. I can do this, and when you get the chance to do something out of it, you need to just run and do something good, and that is what we have done. That is what we have done.
But do you have a corporate consent to do this now and replicate it into other areas as well in ABB?
Sorry, corporate?
If this is super successful, will you replicate this to other places in the world as well?
Yes. I mean, we will bring on board most certainly also virtual members from all parts of the world into what we are doing. And at some point we probably will open up physical spaces in other parts of the world too. But remember, this is difficult. It's difficult. We let in these companies. It's not a building of its own here. It's the largest R&D center in ABB worldwide, where the companies can potentially go into ABB people's offices and vice versa. It's fully open. Once we are inside the door, we share the same environment. But if you should build trust, if I say, okay, you are welcome in here, but you are just allowed to sit over there and you cannot come to me, that is not really that you feel trust, right? So if it's trust, then it's trust.
I also really like the idea of having a success in the ecosystem is good, even though it's not happening on the inside. And a colleague of mine could say that we're actually maybe perceived as though we are shooting ourselves in the foot by collaborating. However, otherwise we would be maybe killed immediately. So I think that that's really interesting, and it's not super obvious, and it's really hard actually for an industrial big company to open up in this way. So I think that's really admirable. I would, one more question?
One more question, yes.
Last question.
I'm coming from a medium-sized OEM, so you would call me corporate. And you mentioned a lot of startups in your ecosystem. What is the criteria and the process for corporates or medium-sized OEMs to get into this ecosystem and do some collaboration?
Whatever you have as an idea there, bring it up with me, because I think we need also to come to the next level. We have a lot of partners in our ecosystem as well. So I don't have the answer to that one, and we don't have so much experience, but I think we can reach longer if we do things together also across those boundaries.
Okay. Everybody wants to collaborate with ABB. This is great. Okay, I want you to give Peter a big applause.